All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Deadbeat by Jim Butcher. This is book number 7, I believe, in his Dresden Files series about Harry Dresden, the wizard that solves mysteries in Chicago. This book came out in 2006. Let's talk about now. I've been reviewing, since I started this channel, I've been reviewing these Jim Butcher Dresden books in no particular order. I'll just be honest with you. I haven't been doing them chronologically whatsoever. But anyway, we're doing this one now, folks. Let's talk about the cover first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. I've always loved all of the Jim Butcher covers. I mean, I think this artist, and we'll get to who the artist is in a second, but I've got all my Jim Butcher books right up. Where the fuck are they? There they are. So I got my Dresden File books. I've got a bunch of books by him. Now I have met Jim Butcher several times. We've done book signings at the Bard's Tower book booth and a lot of the Comic-Cons, and I even did one Comic-Con writing advice panel with Jim Butcher and Larry Correia and some other authors that you would recognize. So if you want to watch that video, it's a cool video. Just type in my last name, Jim Butcher's last name, Larry Correia's last name, and then just I think the title of the video we did, which is on my channel, it's about an hour long, but the title of the panel was fantasy tropes. So if you do in your YouTube search bar a combination of any of that stuff, you'll get to that video. It's a really cool video of all of us authors talking about fantasy tropes. Let's get back to the cover. So I love the covers. So I was searching, I'm like, who did the cover? Who did the cover? And I'm just like, it's not listed. They don't even list it in the book. Inside the book, they list who did inside illustrations, but there's no inside illustration, so I don't even know why they listed that. And this book is published by Rock Fantasy, which is, it looks like that's what most of Jim Butcher's books are published. So then I had to go, so then I thought, well, I'll see if, because I know the same artist that did this, and did all of, so I'm like, I'll look at this one and see if the artist's name is and it's not mentioned, and then but it says all the interior illustrations were done by so and so, and then I'm like, there's no interior illustrations in this one either. And so then I had to go online and figure out who the artist was, and it's a guy, someone named Chris McGrath. I've almost said guy, but I don't know. But Rock Books, you need to give the artist credit for the covers inside somewhere. Most publishers do. Now, I did notice in Rock Books' defense, the hardcover versions, because I've got a couple hardcover versions of Jim Butcher books, they do have, and those are squirreled away in a closet under the staircase somewhere. But anyway, they do have the artist name on the hardcover, just not the paperback. But don't make it so hard for me to figure it out. I had to crawl. I had to go to the internet, and I had to crawl in the crawl space under my stairs. Anyway, let's get to the book, because I have just talked nonsense so far. Describe Dresden and his job. That is the first note on my list of notes right there. Dresden is a wizard in Chicago. He investigates supernatural phenomena, and in 7 books in the whole series, if you follow the whole series, you understand there's a lot of supernatural phenomena in the world that most humans don't get to see. Most of us muggles just don't get to see it. But in Harry Dresden's world, he is privy to this supernatural underbelly of things, and there's vampires, werewolves, there's druids, there's all sorts of things, floating monsters of all kind, floating around, and when things go bad, Harry Dresden is called upon to go solve them. So we open up with Harry Dresden and his brother. His brother, who is a half vampire, Thomas. They live together. Thomas, they're kind of like the odd couple. Thomas is a little bit sloppy. Harry Dresden's a little bit OCD. Anyway, then we also have Karen Murphy, the cop. Now, she has been in the in these books too. One of the great Harry Dresden characters. Now, Karen Murphy is sort of we don't know if Dresden and Karen Murphy are going to be a romantic thing or not. Clearly, Karen Murphy has friend-zoned Dresden, and she's going at the beginning of this book. She's going on a vacation with her just a dude that she thinks is interesting because he's cool and dangerous. And Harry's like, I don't think you should go on a major vacation with this guy because he's bad news. And she's just like, but he's exciting. I'm going to go. And Harry's like, oh, be careful. But Harry Dresden's a little bit bummed because, you know, he kind of likes the lady. And the lady has clearly friend-zoned him for whatever reason. Now, then we get to the sorceress Mavra. She's blackmailing both Murphy the cop and Dresden the wizard detective. So I got this on page 19. There was this thing. I'm going to read to you. Okay, so this passage stuck out to me in particular because I just went through a near-death experience. And if you follow my channel for any length of time, you know this. I did many videos. I'll edit that burp out. I did many videos about it. So when I got to this passage, I really reflected on my own life. Death isn't something anyone likes to think about. But the fact is that you can't get out of it. No matter what you do, how much you exercise, how religiously you diet, or how religiously you diet, or do yoga, or meditate, or pray, or how much money you donate to your church, there is a single hard, cold fact that faces everyone on earth. One day it's going to be over. One day the sun will rise, the world will turn, people will go about their daily business. Only you won't be in it. You'll be still and cold. And despite every religious faith, the testimony of near-death eyewitnesses, and imaginations of storytellers throughout history, death remains the ultimate mystery. No one truly definitively knows what happens after. And that's assuming there is an after. We all go there blind to whatever it is out there in the darkness beyond. Death, you cannot escape it. That was a great passage. I liked it. You know, when you go through a near-death experience yourself, you just kind of like, you're always thinking about it. And that was a cool passage that Jim Butcher wrote. And Jim Butcher signed one of my books. I always show off my signed books. So anyway, there's this blackmail going on between the sorceress Mavra. She's blackmailing Murphy and Dresden, our main character. God, I almost forgot his name. She wants Harry Dresden. Harry can get out of this blackmail if he does one thing for the sorceress. And that thing is he has to find the word of Kemlar, whatever that is. And it even says that on the back copy. On the back jacket, which I won't read for you because I read out loud poorly, as you just witnessed. But in the back jacket it says, Harry must find the word of Kemlar. And in quotations it says, whatever that is. Whatever it is. So, speaking of near-death experiences, that's basically the gist of the plot. I'm not going to get into much more of that. I just will tell you, as one last note, speaking of near-death experiences, on page 261 of this book, there's a passage where someone says, I will rip out your pancreas through your nose. Or maybe it's rip your pancreas out through your nose. And I was thinking, oh no, everybody guard their pancreas. If I'm in you just guard your pancreas. That's the most important organ in your body. Above your brain, your heart, everything. Guard your pancreas. Because that's what almost killed me. And now whenever I read a book and the pancreas is mentioned in the book, my alarm bells go off. They just do. And the thing is before my incident with my pancreas, the word pancreas had never crossed my lips. And now I'm seeing it everywhere. And I'm saying it every day. Jim Butcher's Deadbeat is it's a hard-boiled, like if you love those hard-boiled mysteries, like kind of like those Raymond Chandler-esque mysteries where the witty dialogue and the snappy, punchy way that things are described, that's the way Jim Butcher writes these books. They're just fun to read. They're overall, the reason I collect these books is just I have fun when I'm reading them. And that's the big thing. Deadbeat gets a 9 out of 10. And that's my final